Formula One has never been as global, intense, and challenging as it is today. Max Verstappen, the phenomenon of Red Bull racing, who celebrated his fourth championship under the vibrant lights of Las Vegas, is taking a rare winter break before the start of another frantic season. But while reflecting on the current calendar of the sport, Verstappen raised an issue that has been keeping drivers, teams, and even the most dedicated fans awake at night. Is Formula One pushing the limits of what is humanly possible? When Max debuted in F1 in 2015, few could have imagined a scenario as extreme as the one we live in today. A calendar with 24 Grand Prix races, sprint races on already packed weekends, and exhausting travel that crosses continents in a matter of days. In 2023, the season broke records in terms of length and complexity, culminating in a triple header that spanned 12 time zones in less than a month. From Qatar to Las Vegas, with a stop in Abu Dhabi, the end of the season was a true test of endurance, both physically and mentally. Verstappen, known for his bluntness, didn't hesitate to label the situation as crazy. In an interview with the Swiss newspaper Blick, he shared his concerns, echoing sentiments already expressed by veterans like Fernando Alonso and Lewis Hamilton. "What can we do? We can only ask the Formula One management to stop this madness," said the driver, emphasizing that drivers have always been the weakest link in this massive machinery. Verstappen's words are not alarmist for no reason. The pressure on drivers is immense, but the impact goes far beyond what we see on the track. The recent case of Kevin Magnussen, who had to retire from the race in São Paulo, and Nico Hülkenberg, removed from the press in Qatar for health reasons, are clear examples of the price athletes pay to maintain the sport's frantic pace. And it's not just the drivers who suffer. Team members, often less mentioned, face equally intense schedules, traveling in far less comfortable conditions and spending long periods away from their families. "The season is already too long," commented Lewis Hamilton in a previous interview, adding that finding balance is increasingly difficult, even for him, who travels with luxury and support. Fernando Alonso, on the other hand, was even more emphatic. In 2017, the two-time champion threatened to quit F1 if the number of races continued to grow. "When I started, the calendar had 16 races. Now, between sponsor events, testing, and commitments, we're at a level that is already too demanding. Quality of life matters more than endless seasons," said the Spaniard at the time. Despite the criticism, Formula One shows no signs of slowing down. On the contrary, the sport is constantly seeking new markets. Countries such as Thailand, South Korea, and Argentina are in line to host their own races, while Zandvoort in the Netherlands may lose its spot on the calendar soon. The contract for the Barcelona Grand Prix is also nearing its end, with Madrid already positioning itself as a replacement starting in 2026. This expansion has led to unprecedented growth in global viewership, but at what cost? Verstappen makes it clear that the search for new frontiers cannot ignore human limits. He advocates for a more balanced approach, something that so far seems to be outside the organizers' plans. As Formula One solidifies itself as one of the most exciting and global sports on the planet, the question that remains is, how far can we go before the rope snaps? The endurance of drivers and teams is already at its limit, and the growing exhaustion could end up pushing even the biggest names in the sport away. Alonso and Hamilton have already made it clear that a more streamlined calendar is essential for the longevity of their careers and the health of the sport as a whole. And Max Verstappen, even at the peak of his form, admits that something needs to change. F1 needs to rethink its priorities. "We are not machines, and the calendar is pushing us to the extreme," concluded the Dutchman. As fans eagerly await the start of the new season, the conversation about the balance between expansion and sustainability will continue. Will Formula One find a middle ground before losing some of its biggest stars? What we do know is that drivers like Verstappen, Alonso, and Hamilton are not afraid to speak the truth and fight for change. Now, the question remains whether the management of the sport is willing to listen.